Hello everyone, this is Hers and you are watching WPF World. In this chapter, we will learn about built-in delegates. How many built-in delegates are available in C# and how to use it. So without wasting time, let's get started. Before we learn about built-in delegates, let's first see the custom delegates. For that, I am going to create one class. I will call it as custom delegate. Here I will define 3 delegates. I want to define the delegate which will return integer type and will take 2 arguments, int a and int b. Same way I will define another one and it will return void. I will define one custom delegate which will check for valid variable. Here I will pass a string as a variable name and here I will return boolean. Now inside the constructor I will create the delegate of all type. If you don't know how to create the delegate, then watch the last video of delegates. Equal to new sum, and here I will pass a method name sum which will take 2 arguments. And same for second delegates I will define like this. In same way we will create delegate for each valid variable. Now let's create the method. I will say someone because we already have some method inside this class. Someone, and we'll create the method. In this method we will check the variable if variable name contains space, then we will return false, otherwise we will return true. Or we can also do like this, means if the variable contains the space, then it will return false. Okay, and for this I'm going to print the value of sum, console dot write line. Okay, and here I will print a plus b, but here in this method I will return the sum of the variable like this. Here I have created 3 delegates where the first delegate accept 2 parameter and return integer type, and the second delegate accept 2 parameter and return nothing. The third delegate take 1 parameter and return the boolean value. Now let's call these delegates. I will make it as public. Now I have to create the object of this custom delegates inside the program class main method equal to new custom equal to new custom delegates. Okay, I will invoke all delegates inside this constructor. How to do that? Sum, and here we have to pass the value 10, 20 I have passed. Okay, this is del1. And in the same way we can invoke this one, and here I have to pass the variable name like full name. Okay, you know we can't use space between the variable name, like we can't write like this string full space name, right? So this method will return the false, right? So what I will do, I will print the value of this sum and the is valid delegates. Okay, now let's run and see. If you see here, the first delegate return 30, this one. This is the 30 which we are printing in the method itself, right? This is false, means this full name variable we can't have space between the variable name, right? C# have three types of built-in delegates, which are Func delegate, action delegate, and predicate delegate. This is generic type of delegates. What is Func generic delegate in C#? The Func generic delegate is present in the system namespace. These delegates take one or more input parameters and return one out parameter. The last parameter is considered as return value. The Func's generic delegate can take up to 16 input parameters of different or the same data types. It must have one return type. The return type is mandatory, but the input parameter is not mandatory. So whenever your delegates return some value, whether by taking any input parameter or not, you need to use the Func generic delegate. Let's see how to use the Func delegate. We have the Func delegate, right? Here we have to pass the parameter. Like in this delegate, we have two parameters of type int. Okay, int comma int like this. And the return type is integer. So the last parameter will be the return type of Func. So here we have to specify int. Means these two are for the parameter and this is for output. So I will say sum Func, okay, equal to new sum Func, and here we can use the same method. You can pass this here, it will work. Okay, see, because sum one method have two parameter and one return type, right? That's why we can use in Func. So without creating this delegate, we can use this Funcs and we don't have to declare a delegate and create a delegate. We can just create a delegate using Func whenever we have a method which returns some value and take some parameter, or it is not mandatory to take the parameter, but if it is returning some value, then it should be Func delegate. Now what is action delegate? Action delegate is also a generic delegate which is present in system namespace. It takes one or more input parameter and it returns nothing. This delegate can take a maximum of 16 input parameter of the different or same data type. So we can use this delegate whenever we don't want to return any value and we are taking some parameter into the delegate, then we can use the action delegate. So now let's see with example how to use the action delegate. To use the action delegate, we have to use the action, and here we have to pass the parameter type. Like for the sum2 delegate, we have two parameter of type int, right? So we will say int like that we can use, because we are not going to return any value, so we can use the action delegate. So I will say sum2 action equal to new action. Okay, and here we can pass the sum2 method, this method, because this method takes two parameters and return nothing, right? So we can use this. What is predicate delegate? The predicate delegate is also a generic delegate. It's also present in system namespace. This delegate is used to verify certain criteria of the method and return the output as a boolean. It takes one input parameter and always return a boolean value, which is mandatory. This delegate can take a maximum of one input parameter and always return the value of the boolean type. So whenever the delegate return a boolean value and taking only one input, then we can use the predicate delegate. Now let's see how to use the predicate delegate. For that we have to use the predicate, and here we have to pass the argument. As you know, it will take only one argument, so we can pass string here, because if you can see this is valid variable delegate, we are passing parameter as string. So I will use string here, and I will say is valid predicate equal to new predicate. Okay, like this we can do, and here we have to pass the method name like this. Now we can invoke this delegate. Let's invoke it. Dot invoke method, and also we can use without the invoke method, we can pass the parameter. I will say 20 and 30. I will say this one, and then I will invoke this predicate delegate, and here I will pass full name. Okay, and as this func delegate return the value, so I will print the value of this. This also return the value. I will print the value of this method. Now let's run and see the result. See, this is from the delegate which is defined by us, right? This one, because if you can see here 10 20, so it is returning 30 30, right? It is false, right? If you see the func delegate output, it is 50, action delegate 50, and the predicate is false. I hope you understand how to use the built-in delegate. That's all for this video. If you found this video helpful, let's share with your friends.